I want to call to order the September 6th, 2022 council meeting. Will everybody please stand for the pledge? Gina, will you lead us off, please? Pastor Mitch from Valparaiso Baptist Church, lead us in a quick prayer.
Be happy to. Let's pray. Gracious God, we're so grateful for the opportunity to come here tonight and to do the business of the city. Thank you, Lord, for each person that sits on this council. We pray, Lord, that you'd bless them with wisdom as they lead. We pray, Lord, for the city, that you would continue to bless it. Lord, as a pastor that pastored here in this community for 8.5 years, I have a heart for the community and its people. And so, Lord, I pray that each person here would steward the city's business well, and that, Lord, you would be honored and glorified through the business of the city. And so, Lord, bless the people that live here. Bless all of our first responders. We pray, Lord, for safety as they're out on the streets serving us day in and day out. And we're so grateful for all your goodness. We ask this all in the precious name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Clerk Treasurer, can you please call the roll?
Councilperson Alvarez?
Here.
Councilperson Pogorski?
Here.
Councilperson Geisers?
Here.
Councilperson Clem? Councilperson Williams?
Here.
Councilperson Gully?
Here.
Councilperson Zilli?
Here. And I'll just note, the mayor is still recovering from knee surgery, so she is at home recovering, and I am filling in for her tonight. We have the approval of the minutes from August 2nd.
Motion to approve the minutes from August 2nd.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. We have communications, correspondence, and announcements from the mayor. We have one. Brian, I know you have a proclamation to read.
Proclamation to all whom these presents may be
may welcome greetings. Whereas National Step Family Day is enhanced by our strong commitment to support the step families of our nation in their mission to raise their children, create strong family structures to support the individual members of the family, instill in them a sense of responsibility to all extended family members. And whereas approximately half of all Americans are currently involved in some form of step-family relationship, and whereas National Step Family Day is celebrated annually on September 16th and was founded by Michigan step-parent Christy Tussing-Borgo in 1997, and it is her vision that all step families in the United States be accepted, supported, and successful. And whereas our nation has been blessed by thousands upon thousands of loving step-parents and step-children who are daily reminders of the joy, trials, and triumphs of the step-family experience and of the boundless love contained in the bond between all types of parents and children. And whereas National Step Family Day is a day to celebrate the many invaluable contributions step families have made to enriching the lives and life experience of the children and parents of America and to strengthening the fabric of the American families and society. Therefore, I, Suad Lynch, Mayor of the City of Portage, do hereby proclaim the 16th of September 2022 as National Step Family Day in the City of Portage and urge all citizens to recognize this day by spending quality time doing what you love together as a family. In testament whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the affix the great seal of the City of Portage in the state of Indiana on this, the 6th day of September.
Is there anyone here to accept the petition or the proclamation? All right. Clerk Treasurer's report.
So we got notification from the DLGF that our CCD increase was approved, and at the statutory rate, because we're a lit county, so we got the 5 cents on $100 per assessed valuation. And from what I gather, there was some legislation change last year. I don't think we'll have to reestablish anymore. I think it'll hold. We did get the CNAVs from the county. Our CNAV, which is our certified net assessed value, went up 12% in the county, which is pretty significant, 12%. It was like 6.2 last year. So there's significant growth there. Back as out of the office week before. So I'm working on getting the budget templates ready. I did have every department's budgets updated with the ending appropriation balances for the end of July, but I've almost got, I do have August's appropriation report done, so I want to update those figures. I could get it out tomorrow. Okay, so like before that? Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. So, but then I thought that we needed to meet first to the budget committee, so. But not.
Thank you. Reports from, sorry, go ahead.
Did we get our next round of ARP money?
Yep, I wrote that down. Yes, we did. Okay, so we do have. So yes, we got our full distribution.
And did that, what was the amount?
4.1 and change, hold on.
Sorry, didn't have my mic on, apologize.
Our second distribution was $4,191,241.97, with a total for this year of $4,207,046.66. Because if you remember earlier, we got the.
Do you
Thank
think
you.
we'll get another?
No, I think
Or that's the whole?
Yes, and the second part of that supplemental distribution was included in our second.
All right, thank you, Nina.
Welcome.
Thank you, Nina. Reports from standing committees. Debbie, do you have a budget committee update?
So, Scott and I, Colin was not available as part of the budget committee, had some roundtable discussions with all the department heads to kind of see where their budgets were, some of the things they might be thinking about for next year. Obviously, as the clerk treasurer just explained, she was not able to get the appropriations report out to them. So I give every department head great kudos because they have been on top of their budgets all year, doing the very best that they can. to keep after it. So they came with some good discussion points, and once they get their budget forms, which that's the other thing the clerk's working on now, then we'll start individualizing with them, and we'll set up some more individual meetings with each department as opposed to all of them together. So it was productive, I think. Scott, did you have anything to add to that?
No, you summarized it well.
Wonderful. Scott, do you have an ordinance committee update?
Yes, the ordinance committee did meet today, and we have a number of topics that are an ongoing discussion. One of them includes the, what we're calling, excuse me, the puppy mill type of facilities and some recommendations for that. We're continuing to discuss that. We're also looking at possible restrictions on certain types of retail shops. We also had a discussion on trash fees, which should be on, the ordinance should be on next month's agenda. Tonight on the agenda is our flood plan prevention, which is required by FEMA and is necessary for us to maintain our insurance, and that will be presented tonight in first reading.
Thank you, Scott. Reports from city officials. We'll start with Superintendent Reeder. Changing up the order on you all tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I did email a report earlier. So we almost had like 700 phone calls come into the department. 1,257 people drove in through our department, either taking advantage of some of the different services. We do have plenty of compost at the US 12 site and also at the street department. So that is available free of charge. Just give us a call if you need help in loading your vehicle or trailer, if you do that, so we could set up a time for that. For the streets, Total Patcher is still going out in areas throughout the city. We're still working in some streets. Right now, we're working on Portage Avenue, and after Portage Avenue, we're gonna be working on like Old Porter Road, trying to remember some of the side streets, Samuelson, stuff like that. So crack sealing, we've completed the roads that have been paved in 2021, 2020, and 2019. So those are all completed in crack sealing. Right now, we're going to be working on older roads from 2018 list that have been patched or paved and older. So we're still working on crack sealing. Our mosquito abatement program is completed. We're no longer spraying for mosquitoes out there. So hopefully we'll be done with that as the temperatures are cooling off. Our weed control measures are still being conducted throughout the city. Road striping still continues. Limb routes are still being serviced. Our mowing crews are still out doing those areas. And we are now started to prep for our leaf acts. So we're getting those ready. I just want to remind everyone publicly that our department, street department, is doing the city auction this year on September 17th. That's Saturday. The gate opens at 9 a.m. to review all equipment, and then the auction starts at 10 a.m. For our sanitation department, I'd like to just remind everyone and the public that we still continue to monitor our recycling program. It is still under suspension. Our last inspection, we are really close, but we got a long ways to go. So we are keeping tracks of the recycling toters that are being confiscated. So far this year, there's about 181 that we've taken out of service due to major violations. Minor violations, if we could address them right at the curb and adjust the toters, we give a little warning, and hopefully that corrects the situation. But for major infractions of the recycling policy, we do take it. So with that said, on August 19th, the 2021 NERPC Green Fleet Member of the Year Award was presented to the City of Portage, and I was there to present or to accept that award on behalf of the city. The NERPC Green Fleet Member of the Year Award recognizes a NERPC Drive Clean Indiana Green Fleet member that stands as an example for others in their actions and commitments to sustainable practices. And NERPC serves the Lake, Porter, and LaPorte counties in Indiana. So we just received our first CNG vehicle, and we've been monitoring its usage. And I just want to do a fast comparison here to our newest diesel vehicle, which is a rear loader, 425. So what we did was for 2 days, that diesel truck used 35.5 gallons of diesel. It was an approximate cost of about $177. Also within that diesel, we have a DEF, it's diesel emission fluids that burns off the particulates in the emissions. So that's about a 2% ratio, so approximately $3.64 was used. So in every 4 to 5 days when we use that piece of equipment, it goes into a regen cycle. And it sits there for an hour in high idle, burning off particulates in the DEF filter. So you gotta keep that in mind also. So breaking it down, our diesel truck, 425, used $90.57 worth of fuel in DEF. Now our CNG, as we looked into that and kept those numbers, our CNG used, during those 2 days, 20.3 gallons of equivalent CNG at a cost of $2.64 per gallon. And that's incredible when we look at that. So you're talking no regen, no DEF, and breaking it down to that's $26.77 on a day. That's how more efficient the CNG is. So at the end of the day, you could see the comparison between diesel and where the city is going in searching out alternative fuels.
Randy?
So, yes.
Is CNG more of a stable price point as well? It doesn't tend to fluctuate as much as diesel
It does, and it's regulated by the Energies Commission, so those rates are, as NIPSCO asks for rates, those have to be compared. So it's not like at the pump where you got the world market in fuel. So CNG is a lot more stable commodity when supplying the area. We also are seeking a grant. As we get into CNG, there are grants out there to like it's a fuel reimbursement grant. So right now, the one grant that we're looking at next year is a 50-cent per mile reimbursement. So whatever miles we put on our CNG equipment, we submit that at the end of the year, take odometer readings, certify that, and then submit that in for a reimbursement of 50 cents a
And
mile.
Randy, because Hobart has a lot of these CNGs, what was their approximate reimbursement?
I was told it was between about $40,000 to $50,000, so. All right, and then the next thing, as we're looking at the infrastructure and getting our own fill station here in our department, once that's completed, the cost of CNG will drastically drop to about $1.20 to about $1.30 equivalent CNG gallon, so. So we're looking at great things happening at the sanitation department in seeking this. And there's more grants out there. I mean, we're talking the NOFA grant, which is a 80-20 match. So I want to be upfront and really clear. There are no grants for diesel, none. The government is not giving out any type of money in those seeking diesel. So, all right. Any questions?
On the city auction, is there gonna be a list posted of what's gonna be available? Is there?
Yes. There is a list being done, completed, so.
I can
Anything
tell you
else?
there will be file cabinets.
Thank you, Randy.
All right.
And thank you for fixing the mic on the podium. It
Oh.
hasn't
You're
worked for
welcome.
6 months, but Randy fixed it in 5 minutes today, so. Chief Candiano.
I'm not using Randy's mic. Just joking. I like to sit. All right, good evening, everybody. All right, I'll start with our incidents for the month of August. For the month of August, we came out with total incidents of 3,058. comes out to about 99 a day, and for the year-to-date, we're sitting at 23,566. So I was curious, I kind of ran it against last year's numbers, and it's a pretty big number, but it's actually pretty much on par with last year. So some months have been higher, some months have been lower, so the average is out to be about the same. As far as our staffing right now, we currently have one officer at the Northwest Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, and we have 3 openings. So I think I mentioned last time that we were beginning the hiring process. I believe we received either 21 or 22 applications back. 50 some went out, only 20 some came back, so it was more that went out this time than in the past, so that's a good thing. Just I think part of the problem is there's just everybody's hiring right now, so so that being said, we'll be working through we will be working our way through the testing process in the coming weeks, and we'll see if we can get those 3 spots filled. Currently have 4 officers out on workman's comp. We've got one out from a training injury. We've got one that's been out for an extended period of time from a disturbance from early in the year. And then we had 2 officers that went out in some pretty serious incidents that we had this month, a disturbance and an armed robbery. So hopefully we'll get them back here at some point. Community engagement, we participated in the following community events. And I think I'm missing a few. I was trying to take tally on this, so if I'm missing any, I'll catch you up next month. But our K-9 program threw a cookout, did some demonstrations and things, basically honoring all the donors. They've raised a ton of money this year, which has allowed us to get the K-9s that we've added to the program, their training, the vet bills, all that stuff. They essentially are self-funded. So they put together a program to basically thank everybody who's donated to them. So it was a pretty cool event. We also participated in the Guardians of the Green Mile Wolf Stock event. We had a couple K-9 officers that were at that. We had the MAC event that we sent K-9s and I think some of our SWAT members to the MAC Center out in Valpo for their yearly event. And then as we spoke about last month, we were actually having our national night out during the meeting, so we participated in that. So, like I said, I think there's a couple more, so I'll catch up on those. But I know we've been doing a lot of stuff with the community over the summer, so pretty happy about that. Wanted to announce a couple promotions. So the following promotions were made just last Sunday, or this past Sunday. And so these all have come from retirements, changing of ranks, and things that have occurred over the summer months. So kind of all catching up on some of these. So I wanted to announce Robert Nichols was promoted to sergeant, Nicole Huberger was promoted to corporal, and Robert Demetrulis was promoted to corporal. So congratulations to them. And then I'm also happy to announce we've added an additional officer to serve as an SRO for Portage Township Schools. So Sergeant Matt Johnson has been assigned to Fagley. So previously that was a rotating part-time position that was filled by our office, or our department, the sheriff's department. I think there might have been a couple other departments that were participating in that, but we have now filled that with a permanent full-time officer from Portage Police Department. So just another example of the good relationship we've got with Portage Township Schools. We've now got 3 Portage officers working as SROs in the school system. So very, very excited to have that going on. Quick update on the ARPA funds. We received approval from the Board of Works to move forward with our body cams. I've been working back and forth with Attorney Witten just to clear up some language, and I think we're there. So hopefully we'll get that rolling here within the week. And I'm not sure what the rollout time will be, but I think we're almost finishing that. We're almost across the goal line with that one. So been a long time coming, and something that obviously we're able to do now with you guys all allocating the money to us. So pretty excited about that. Just a couple other things of note. We were able to purchase 60 individual first aid kits. So we now have first aid kits in all of our patrol cars. Obviously, there's been some major incidents that have occurred over the summer months and things in our country, and just having the ability to be able to arrive on scene. We did the AEDs, we scratched that off the list. Now we've got these first aid kits, so pretty excited to be able to have that equipment available to our officers as they respond to scenes. We also ordered a crisis negotiator, some equipment. We were kind of behind the times on the way we were doing our negotiating, and so this equipment's gonna kind of bring us into the modern century, so pretty excited about that. And then we are going to be turning one of our rooms into essentially a mat room for defensive tactics. So previously, we've had to kind of outsource where we're doing this training and things. We've been limited on the amount of training that we can do because we didn't have a place, and we were kind of limited on, or at the mercy of different gyms and things like that. So this will give us an opportunity to do all of our in-house training there, and then maybe expand some stuff into the public as we kind of get going with that. So, and then the last thing I want to talk about, if you've been paying attention to our Facebook page or the news, obviously we've had some major events in the last couple weeks. First of all, I'll just say, some of the chatter on there is it's not safe, things are going bad in Portage, things like that. I wouldn't say that's true. I think that there's definitely a crime problem in the region over the summer. There's been. I think part of our issue is that we share that with people. We put it out there. We're not hiding things that are going on. But the thing that I'm most proud of is that in all these instances, we caught the people. So I want to give recognition to our officers. Recently, we've had an armed robbery involving a vehicle pursuit, an armed robbery involving a vehicle pursuit, a burglary involving a stolen vehicle, which turned into a vehicle pursuit, a domestic situation which involved firearm, narcotics, and a vehicle pursuit. And in each of these incidents, all the suspects were taken into custody, very minimal injuries, firearms were recovered, property was recovered. So, total team effort. Everybody out there had some help from other departments. Just an example of good law enforcement. So, it just gives me a chance to thank all our people publicly for that. So, that's all I got. All right, thank you guys.
Assistant Chief DeYoung.
Good evening. You guys should have received the report this afternoon, email. We'll start with call volume also. This August, we saw 580 total calls, which is up above what we did last year in the same month. Of these 580 calls, it totaled about 1,062 man-hours, which together that breaks down to about 19 calls per shift and 34 man-hours. Which doesn't include our crews out there training, doing maintenance and upkeep of our stations, apparatus, and equipment and PR events. So they're staying pretty busy throughout the day and through the nights. That brings our total up for the year to 4,095, which is also above where we were last year, which, if you remember, last year was our busiest year ever. So we're still on pace to beat that. We also received mutual aid 27 times last month. So we have mutual aid, other apparatus coming into our city to help us out. Most of those being on EMS calls. As far as personnel, currently we're short 13 people working on shift. We have 2 new firefighters that we just hired. We're supposed to swear them in tonight, but we'll do that either at a Board of Works or at a merit board meeting. So they did their week of training, but now they're on shift through the FTO program, so they're not on their own, so they don't actually count as working members right now. Of the 4 that we swore in last meeting, 3 of them have been cleared to be on their own. We still have 1 that should be cleared pretty shortly. We do still have 4 people off on major illness and injury, and we still have 6 current open spots that we're trying to fill. We do have a list that is still in effect, but they don't qualify. Either they're not an EMT certified person yet, or they're still waiting to pass the physical agility test. With that being said, hopefully tonight we get final approval for a lateral transfer process. And we also hope to establish a list that's good through December of 2023.
Did we not do that at the last meeting? The lateral transfer
So
process?
that was an ordinance change
Right.
for the age and being perf eligible. The lateral transfer, we got approved at the last Board of Works, and that was just allowing us. That's kind
We'll
of the MOU.
we'll add it to the agenda.
Yeah, that's the MOU we have with the union. So our hope is this week to start both a lateral transfer and a hiring list process. So the lateral transfer process, hopefully will get people that are, in order to even qualify the list, you have to be 3 years at least on a career department, be firefighter 1 and 2 and a paramedic. So basically, once they come to our department, they'll be ready to act and they'll benefit us right off the bat. So if we can fill our 6 positions off that, we will. Otherwise, we're still establishing that hiring list, which, like I said, will go through December 31st of 2023. So we'll have that list established. Also on August 31st, we promoted Mark Walzak from the rank of Master Firefighter Paramedic to the rank of Lieutenant. As far as vehicle status, we did have quite a few breakdowns this month. Engine 3 was out of service and in the shop for about approximately a week. Ladder 2 currently is out of service, and it's been in the shop for about a week. Hopefully, we'll get that back next week. Marine 1, our dive and fire boat, is actually out of the water right now. It had some engine issues, so right now it is in Cedar Lake getting worked on. Chris, do we have a timeline as to possibly when that's going to be back?
Parts of the order, they did not give me a timeline.
Okay.
Hoping within the next week or two.
Yeah. We do still have, obviously, the dive team equipped. We still have the jet ski out there. We still have some mutual aid, but obviously our boat being out of the water is not good. We also had a construction meeting for the new engine this month, so we got that pretty well wrapped up, ready to go. We've got a place in line. The actual chassis has been ordered, so that's moving forward. They're still talking like the contract was about 460 days, so it's a while out. We are pretty excited. We received a couple grants, Assistance for Firefighter grants, one of the ones we've been waiting on for portable radios. That grant's worth just over $200,000. What it's going to do is it's going to replace the current portable radios that we have, which I spoke before on. Lake County built their own network, so most of our current radios cannot talk to them. So our bordering towns and cities, we don't have the ability to talk to them on their radio channels. These new radios will have that ability. The new radios will also have the ability to Bluetooth to our air packs, which takes out a lot of distortion from when we speak through our mask. It just goes into the microphone and the mask, and then it goes through the radio. So a lot of the distortion that we have on scene, if any of you have ever heard a fire scene, it's impossible to hear what they're saying when they're breathing on air. This will make a huge difference on that for the safety of our guys. So very excited on that. We also received through Next Level Jobs a $50,000 reimbursement for training costs. So I sat down with them. We went through paramedic school, academy, and some of our other training programs. And the max a department could get is $50,000, and we were able to qualify for that. That was for the previous year. The grant cycle ended, I believe, July 31st, and we're already on board to start tracking for this year. So it sounds like this can be an annual reimbursement for our training, which is very good with the fact that we are hiring a lot of people and have to send them to paramedic school. So great news there. Our crews did a lot of training this month also. NIPSCO came in, taught our guys about propane, natural gas, and gas safety. So we had them out there. Also, thanks to Randy Reeder in the street department, we went out there last week and went through the CNG truck. So now we're better prepared just in case there is an emergency with it. We understand it a lot better. So they did a great job teaching our crews what we needed to know in case something goes wrong. Also, Lieutenant Vidito taught our crews about the difficulties and some of the strategies to overcome that with autistic people that we may run on scene. Obviously, they don't like that interaction and stuff, and when we come to those scenes with the lights, the noise, and everything like that, it may be difficult to deal with. So he gave our guys quite a bit of insight on how to deal with that. Our dive team did their annual week-long training. Part of that, they did qualify and certify 4 new divers on your team.
Correct.
So they had that. Lieutenant Alexander, our dive team leader, is going to talk a little bit after myself on some things with the dive team. Our MSA techs, the ones that work on our air packs, also did a recertification. So they're qualified for the next 6 years to fix our own air packs. So we don't have to send them out and pay somebody else to maintain those. We do that all in-house, and they did that training this month. This week, NIPS goes back teaching us about electrical safety. And next week, the SWAT team will be doing their annual week-long with their recertification and everything like that. So quite a bit of training going on. As far as community, as we all know, high school football season started, so we're out there doing our standby and everything like that. We were very honored to be involved in the hometown hero ceremony that they did on August 26th out there at the high school. We were also at the MEC, like the police were. Our dive team had a tank out there swimming around that so the kids can peek in there and watch them swimming in their dive gear. Like Chief Candiano said, SWAT team was out there, and then Battalion Chief Yanovitz set up a dunk tank to dunk a firefighter. So a lot of kids had fun dunking firefighters out there. So quite a bit of involvement out there. We also did a couple events with the Boys and Girls Club, as well as Isaac Walton. Coming up, we have fire prevention starting this month, near the end of this month, so we'll be in the schools again teaching about fire and home safety. So you'll see the trucks sitting out of the schools. We'll also end that with our annual fire prevention open house. It'll be at Station 3 on October 1st. We don't have times locked in, but we do know it's going to be October 1st at Station 3. So we'll get more information out as we go. Next Tuesday, the 13th, we'll be hosting a hiring open house. Like I said, we're starting our process. We had really good luck with it last year, just opening it up. People could come in, meet our specialty teams, ask our union questions about our benefits and everything like that. So we have representatives from the chief's office, the union, so they can come out there and ask questions, and it helps us sell our product and hopefully bring some people into the city of Portage. So if you guys know anybody that is interested, send them our way. So that's all I got, unless you guys have any questions for me. Thank you.
All right, I just wanted to give you a little positive feedback from our dive team. We did have a busy month and recognize a few individuals. We did send our boat out to the Michigan City races they had in the beginning of August. It's a 2-day event. We were able to send our guys out on Sunday. We had 4 individuals, 4 paramedics out there. Normally, it's not a busy day. We're out just watching the boats. That day, they had a lot of calls. I'm going to give you one of the calls. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but Todd Laux, Ashley Harders, Richard Trapeshaw, and Greg Garner, while they were out there, they responded to a call where 2 open cockpit boats collided, flipping one boat over, ejecting the driver, and as they arrived, the on-site divers had them packaged up already. Well, they brought them onto our boat. We also had one paramedic that the races supplied. She got overwhelmed, so our 3 guys, we did have one driving the boat, but 3 of our paramedics stepped in and took over care. She had multiple system trauma. They believe she got hit by the propeller, so massive lacerations on that. They patched her up, basically trauma dressings, everything, IV started, took her in, stabilized her, did an awesome job. So everything went well on that one. Todd Laux, that Friday, trained with the Dark Side Rescue, which is the divers that they used for the races. He trained on there. It's a Code 3 rapid safety system, and what it is, it's a smaller BCD, basically maybe 10, 12 pounds instead of our bulky 40 pound. And what you do is, it's basically a 10 to 12 minute bottle, and you go in, unlatch a few. If the boat turns upside down, you unlatch the cockpit, get the guys out if they're unconscious or conscious. Again, Todd never thought he was going to use it. He was one of the divers that went in on another call that day and used that safety system. That's something I would like to acquire in the future. They're about $1,300 a piece. Love to have one. Love to have 2, actually, but 1 would definitely do. We did give Fronius, who's up in the port, we gave 6 of their employees a ride out on the boat while it was working. They house our boat during the wintertime, so all they asked was if we can give them a little tour of the area, and they seem to enjoy it very much. Also, Chief DeYoung mentioned that we had our ERDI class. I would like to thank the brothers from Cheston Fire Department with connections, using their connections, getting us a pool to train in. This was a last-minute thing. Something went wrong with our previous pool schedule. I also want to thank the Chesterton High School and Duneland School Corp for letting us use their pool in short notice. We did share the pool with their students. They were on the shallow end doing their laps, and we were in the deep end. And I guess they seemed to get a kick out of watching us do our stuff. So we do have, again, 4 guys that graduated, so now they're rescue divers. And the last thing we're going to be doing, September 11th, Leon's Triathlon is going to be held at West Beach. We were going to send our boat out there with a few guys, but unfortunately that's out. So we're going to be sending our wave runner with 2 guys on there, just stand by and make sure everything's good. So that's all I got.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Barb, our harbor master.
Hello, everybody. I don't have too much to report. It's kind of like getting towards the end of the boating season. 2022, it was an extremely busy year for us. A lot of people, a lot of craziness, and just, I guess I'm kind of glad to see it finally come to a close. Labor Day is pretty much the official closing time for, most of the boaters. And because of the weather, we did not have a really busy weekend. It was kind of quiet out there, which I really appreciated. As far as our marina plan goes, we've submitted it to the DNR. It's a big plan request, as everybody knows, and I don't really have any idea what they're going to authorize or what they're going to pay for or what portion of the grant they will assume responsibility for, or we will. But once again, it's the fish cleaning station, the public fishing pier at the old Ponica property, paving the gravel lot, and new marina signage. Hopefully, we'll get a couple of those, but I'm not sure if we're going to get all 4 of them. We've also contacted Horizon Bank to see if we qualify for a loan to replace the docks. We've talked about, there's 10 docks out there at the marina, and probably 9 of them need to be replaced. They've reached their lifespan, they're 25 years old, so it would be a ground-up thing. I'm not sure what we could qualify for a loan, but we'd like to get like maybe half of them done, and maybe like A through D dock, and then G through K done. We'll see what the bank says. I'm not sure about that. Our boating season officially does end October 31st. That's when everybody pretty much has to be out of the water and we start winterizing. The bathrooms will be closed, the water will be shut off as we gear towards the winter season. I contacted Item Thursday, September 1st, because a boater reported about 100 to 150 yard oil shiny slick out by Well Street Beach, drifting, east and west. And Item did respond back really quickly, very promptly, and I was happy to hear that, but they were already on it. So I know that the beach was closed, Lake Street Beach was closed September 2nd, but I'm not sure if it's been opened yet. So I don't really have anything further to report on that. August 25th, we had our annual Clean Marina inspection with Item, and as usual, we scored high on that, as we do every year, and that's a good thing to be a clean marina, and we've been a clean marina for many years. We strive to clean the waterways and make sure that everything is done properly out there. So that's all I have. Any questions or anything? No? Thank you.
Thank you, Barb.
Thanks, Barb.
Tracy, our plant superintendent.
Hello. Everything's going good right now at the plant. All our equipment is running really well, knock on wood. Still not a lot of rain, which is good for us. For us, we're in a drought. We're used to a lot of rain, which would bring a lot of water in, but we're not getting that right now, which is a good thing. We're going forward with our clarifier plans. Waiting on SRF. They still haven't decided on funding. We were ranked 12th, and they're waiting to see if some of the other ones fall through, because they only fund 6 in a year. So they're waiting to see if some of them don't have their plans ready and stuff like that. That would move us higher. Otherwise, they're trying to see if we fall into like the lone pool fund. But right now, they're saying there's so much need out there, and we're just not up there enough for that need. Because we have no violations like we always do. The problem would be is if we violated, we'd get more. But we don't want to do that, so the plant's running great. But that's about all with us. Any questions?
Thanks, Tracy. And last but not least, I will turn it over to the council's youth advisor.
Well, thankfully, over the past month, we've had a really good start to the school supply drive. We have pretty much the entire table back there is full of supplies. In fact, I'd like to thank Councilwoman Debbie Podgorski for donating 10 book bags full of supplies, full of everything anybody will need. So thank you for that. The Youth Commissioner is also looking forward into the next month to participate in like the Harvest Fest and light up the gourds. So we're looking into that. Nothing's confirmed yet, but we're hoping to. That's about all I got.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to unfinished business. We have ordinance 22-15, annexation petition. Debbie, could you take that for a reading? Scott, I think you have it. Can you take that real quick?
Yeah, this is an ordinance that was tabled from our last meeting. Actually, I think it was a tie vote 3-3, correct?
There was a motion to adopt, and
Yeah.
it was. It failed 4-3, and then there was a motion to table.
Right.
And that's why it's on tonight's agenda.
Okay. So this is ordinance number 2215, an ordinance, the city of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, annexing adjacent and contiguous territory. I'll make a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any discussion?
Yes. Adopting this. I'm speaking on behalf of Plan Commission, that we were all universal as far as approving this, provided it stayed at an R1 and not R4. And that is what I'm wanting to make sure is on this ordinance, that it.
So I believe the ordinance is still R4, which is what the
Correct.
petitioners asked for.
Yep.
So the Plan Commission's recommendation is to accept it R1.
Correct.
But the petitioner has requested R4, so that's what's before the council. Am I correct, Dan?
That is correct. And the developers here, that's correct. So right guys are still.
Any further discussion? If not, I'll call for a roll call vote.
Councilperson Alvarez?
No?
Councilperson Podgorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst?
No.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes. We have new business. I'd like to add the memorandum of understanding, apologies for this not making on the agenda, with the fire union, so I'll go ahead and read this. Memorandum of Understanding, August 2022, participating party, City of Portage Fire Department and Portage Firefighters Local 3151. Scope, we strive to attract and retain candidates of high quality and professionalism to join the Portage Fire Department. Circumstances that are in our control allow us to think progressively in efforts to achieve this goal. Description of collaborative relationship. Seeking lateral transfers with experience at other career departments is a process that many municipalities are exploring. The City of Portage has been unable to fill openings on the fire department for some time now. Offering incentives to highly trained candidates may be attractive to new applicants. Below is a list of mutually agreed upon requirements to be considered for placement. Must be currently employed at a full-time career fire department for a minimum of 3 consecutive years. Documentation will be required. Indiana paramedic license or national registry certification. Indiana firefighter 1 or 2, or able to obtain reciprocity. Currently enrolled or able to become a member of the Indiana Public Retirement System 1977 Fund. Obtain a current CPAT card. Successfully complete the Portage Fire Department swim test and aerial climb. completion of the interview process conducted by the Merit Board and Fire Administration. Below is a list of the incentives that a potential lateral transfer will be afforded. Lateral service credit of 1-to-1 for each documented year of service at a full-time career department. The candidate will receive 1 year of lateral service credit at Portage Fire Department when it pertains to wages and time off. Major medical days will be granted at a rate of 10 calendar days per year of lateral service. Goals and objectives, this is at a significant cost savings to the city of Portage. If the appropriate qualified candidates are placed, the savings will mostly include training expenses, as these individuals will already have the required training that another new candidate may not. They will be able to immediately perform the tasks with little or no supervision. This will reduce overtime and training costs. The immediate functionality of the increased staffing will allow a third rescue to generate additional revenue for the city of Portage. Dates, this memorandum will commence upon approval of city officials. It will end on September 1st, 2023, or when the list of potential candidates is exhausted. This was approved by the Board of Works at their last meeting per the contract. I'll make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Wait, can I make a motion? Nope. Okay.
I'll make a motion to adopt the MOU.
There's a motion to adopt. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, we have introduction and adoption of ordinances, first reading, ordinance 22-16, floodplain prevention. Debbie, could you take that for us?
An ordinance to establish flood damage prevention. Whereas the City of Portage Common Council recognizes that the prevention of flood damage is paramount to protect the homes, property, governmental services, life, health, safety, and expenditures of the unit and its citizen taxpayers. And whereas the Indiana legislature has granted the power to local governmental units to control their land use within their jurisdictions, and whereas the City of Portage Common Council desires to protect against flood damage. Now therefore be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Portage as follows. This is a 38-page document, and I'm only going to read the specific changes. On page 4, the alteration of a water course was deleted. It was then put into page 5 to put it in alphabetical order. So it reads, alteration of a water course means a dam impoundment, channel relocation, change in channel alignment, channelization, or change in cross-sectional area of the channel or the channel capacity, or any other modification which may alter, impede, retard, or change the direction and or velocity of the flow of water during conditions of the base flood. The next change. Thanks. The next change was page 13, and special flood hazard area was simply moved down to be put in alphabetical order. Then page 16, the final was an addition. Section F, discrepancy between mapped floodplain and actual ground elevations. 1, in cases where there is a discrepancy between the mapped floodplain with base flood elevations provided on the firm and the actual ground elevations, the elevation provided on the profiles or table of still water elevation shall govern. Number 2, if the elevation of the site in question is below the base flood elevation, the site shall be included in the SFHA and regulated accordingly. And number 3, if the natural grade elevation of the site in question is at or above the base flood elevation and a LOMA or LOMR-FW is obtained, the floodplain regulations will not be applied, provided the LOMA or LOMR-FW is not subsequently superseded or invalid. Let the record reflect it has been read.
Motion to suspend.
There's a motion to suspend. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor of suspending signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt in a second. Any discussion on this?
Yes, so just so the folks at home who are trying to keep up are clear, there's no additional expenditure or expense to the taxpayer, to the residents, that's correct?
That's correct. Actually, it's just a FEMA and DNR cleaning up some ambiguous language in the ordinances that they'd had passed across the state. It really doesn't have much impact actually on the city, but it's a model language that they've asked the cities and towns to adopt.
Thank you.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is passed. Second reading, we have ordinance 22-12, amending section 54-11 of the municipal code entitled excessive police calls. Brian, do you have that in front of you? You do. Scott, do you have that? Okay.
Yes, I do.
Brian, now, oh, Brian has it in front of him now. You just have to read the title. It's a second reading.
An ordinance of the City of Portage, Indiana, amending section 54-11 of the municipal code entitled excessive police calls. Let the record reflect this has been read in its entirety.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Again, just so the folks at home are clear, what is the result in too many police calls?
Someone from the ordinance committee want to speak to this one? Or perhaps Chief Candiano? He doesn't look like he wants to, but
Well, one, there's fines, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to the problem that's kind of arisen to the, or had this arise. Yeah. We've been having a problem with certain, I'll just say, put out there, certain hotels in our area. We did a case study of calls, and over approximately a year and a half period, we had a certain number of our hotels that had accounted for over 1,160 calls during that time period, as opposed to the other 8 hotels that had accounted for shy of 500. So obviously, that's an absurd amount of calls that are tying up our resources into certain areas, and so we had brought it to the council, searching for some help to give us a little bit of, give them a little bit of a further reason to try to help us out with these calls. So,
And just to be clear, this ordinance, we had one in place already. This one tightens it up. It creates a better path upon which I, as the head of the legal department, can seek redress through the courts. The idea here is to encourage these owners to police their own facilities because these calls are becoming very cumbersome.
and I believe this was passed in 2019? I think it was 2019 originally when this was put in place. Any further?
Very good, thank you.
All right, there's a motion and a second to it. Wait, was there a motion and a second? Yes. There was. Motion and a second to adopt. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have second reading ordinance 22-13, amending section 54-4 of the municipal code entitled removal of vegetation. Deb, can you please read that for us?
An ordinance of the City of Portage, Indiana, amending section 54-4 of the municipal code entitled removal of vegetation. Let the record reflect it's been read in its entirety. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion?
So that essentially just tightened up the notice period, correct?
Correct. It went from, it was originally a 10-day to a 5-day notice for code enforcement to get some of these properties cut that are longer than some people in some respects. So, yeah, this is to help them out.
We have a motion and a second to adopt. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have petitions, remonstrances, and public input. This is the public's opportunity to come to the podium. You'll have 2 minutes to address the council. Anybody like to address the council? Coming up, state your name and your address, and you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Michael Finan. I live at 2880 Carmen Street in Portage. And my issue is that I have a street lamp across the street. It's like the sun coming into my house. And I'd like to know if there's anything anybody can do about that. Because, you know, I've got pictures of it to show you how bad it is. You know, I can't put Christmas ornaments out. You can't sit out on the porch at night, so it's really bad.
Is it one of the new LED ones that was put in, or?
Is that,
Well, at Christmas time, we could put a red bulb.
If you want
Anything.
to send the information to the city attorney, we can get that over to NIPSCO to take a look at.
okay,
Yeah, Mike, you're down the street from me, so I'll take it.
right. I mean, if you put a hood on it or lighten it up or, something like that, that's pretty much it. Okay,
Take a peek, Steve, you know my number.
yes, all right, thank you.
Come on up, Mary.
I might have a couple of things. Okay, my name is Mary Lamola, 6391 Satin Avenue, Portage. Okay, over there on Loop Road, where the Presbyterian church is? Just west of there on the same side, the south side, there's a property, there's like a cornfield there now, but they have like a sign that was for sale, but now it says pending. Do you know what's gonna go in there? Possibly. I was wondering.
I have no clue.
Because we drove by and we're like, pending, I wonder what's going in here, What
Gina,
they're-
has anything come to Plan Commission yet? I know the property's been up for sale for years.
They were talking about connecting it with homes, connecting it through up into Menards.
Yeah, we were just wondering, because it says pending, it's like.
As far as I know, the council a couple years ago denied a zoning change there that would have put in, I think, quadplexes. So I don't know where that stands, but that was a couple of years ago.
Okay, and one more thing, I should have checked better on it today, but we drive down, what is it, Airport Road, okay. They have Robbins Road and Airport, say you go just south of Robbins there, maybe that stretch, there's no median line. Maybe they're waiting for the subdivision to get done, to paint the line in the middle. I'm just thinking about wintertime, the roads will be assault, of course you can't see the road anyway, but like now, say for example, if you have somebody that's a drunk driver or whatever, they won't be able to see it anyway, but I mean, it'd be nice if there was a line painted there, but.
I actually believe I know the answer to this one.
Yes.
It'll be striped, they'll be paving the rest of the roadway down to, I think, either Pan Am or 6. And part
Okay.
of that is putting in the striping at Robinson Airport as well.
Okay, I wanted to ask that for a while, so.
Yep, they plan to start paving where they stopped paving last year.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
I think there was troubles getting a contractor to do it.
Anyone else to speak before the council? Any other matters to come to the council? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Good job.
Aye.